Good morning, everybody. So we did have the NVIDIA earnings yesterday. They did play out pretty bullishly, obviously. You can see we're back into Monday's value. So if we stay above Monday's value low, which we pretty obviously are doing right now, we will look for that Monday value high, which is around 787. And then we have that untested value of around like 816 as that main target. Staying below Monday's value low, which is pretty far away now, so we're probably going to have to move that to like the POC. We will look for yesterday's value back into Wednesday's value. So let's say it's going to be a weird level because it's kind of in the middle. I would say either the bottom of the POC node, which is around like 40, or you could say today's value low, which is like 727. So we'll say 727. And that would be down to 95 and 73. And the upper targets, we could say the POC, so holding above that POC, which is around like 746. We're going to keep the same targets. Right now it has that P-shape mentality, is just breaking out of the upper tail already. So you had a P-shape, now we are extending the upper tail. Okay, same story for NASDAQ here. We would be using the value low of Monday, but it's so far away we do have to raise these levels. Probably around 25,080, which is the value low. Our first upper target at 276 has pretty much already been hit. So we'll say 300 and then 380. Downside will be 948 and 785. Keep an eye on VWAP here, coming back to VWAP on NASDAQ pretty much right away. 146. A little bit of absorption right on the open here. Around 62 to 63. Looks like we are still stuck in a bit of chop here. They're trying to find higher value, but it keeps stalling around that overnight high, around like 73. I haven't had to talk about this in a long time because we haven't had data, but we actually had some data today. Let's cover that really quickly. So they caught up on unemployment claims, and it looks like they were lower than expectations most of the time. Average hourly earnings 0.2 over 0.3, non-farm 119 over 53, so higher than expected. Unemployment claims for this week 220 over 227. Unemployment rate at 4.4 over 4.3, so a little bit higher. And Philly Fed was a little bit lower. We have a couple of Fed talks later in the day. Tomorrow we have PMI data and consumer sentiment and wholesale inventories. We're actually back into having to watch that calendar. Yeah, Jim, they're starting to slowly roll it out. I believe what they do is they just put the data that was not released, they release it during the normal release. Like they did with the unemployment today. Good morning, everybody. Want Jeremy, Banana, Leo, Backpack, and Ordinary. Here's the trade plan for you guys. Morris, Lubomir, Tachi, Bernard, Igor, Patriot, Scott, Jose, Larry, JC, Boat, Lulu, Estevan, James, Tamer, Greg, Mohammed, Pa, Brad, Trevor, Sire, Faraj, Ganesh, Vivian. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Future, Darius, 2013, AT, Orion. Good morning, Samo, Tom, Joan, Lucio, Marcel, Good morning, River. Good morning, Ken. Appreciate you guys being here. You guys enjoy the streams, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Just kind of stuck to this overnight high here. Little micro pullback doji. Tried to break below it, absorbing that delta. Trying to break above it, not finding any delta. Why are these block trades still so loud? Very choppy open. Not the same as what we've been seeing the last couple of days. We've had some very smooth price action, actually, on the last couple of days. The sell pressure is very strong. They're sweeping the high here. Buyers cannot find any pressure above the high. They keep getting absorbed down here at 62. I believe that's like an overlapping level. Yeah, it's like the overlapping POC. Turning a little bit into a capital B instead of a P shape. Still needs to extend that upper tail to finish that retrace. Still holding VWAP as support on NASDAQ. Keep it on 153. Losing that gets pretty bad. You have not tested VWAP yet on ES. You tested it around 8:30 and that was it. You want a river, Ken, power, Michael? Pretty perfect example of a D-shaped 30-minute candle where you have that POC in the middle, you have absorption on the low, and then you have kind of absorption on the high as well. Looks like the absorption on the low is stronger. They're able to push the high here. Just a very D-shaped candle here. You can see where the original absorption was. We had all these clusters on the high. We're starting to trade above it now. They were not able to do that on the low here. They're just not really finding any volume up here. They're just getting exhausted on the breakout. Keep it on 87. That finishes the retrace of Monday. You want Roma? It was being absorbed because you had all those clusters, but you were not pushing through it. Same thing with the low. It's not being absorbed on the high anymore. The breakout is extremely weak. Building a little node here at 80, but it's being held. Still not pushing into that 87. We need to hit that 87 to finish repairing the Monday retrace. Yeah, Sire, I have a template in Discord. I also show my settings on the new video coming out, which should be coming out today or tomorrow. Failed breakout. It looks like it so far. You do have a bear div on Delta. You're not really putting in a node up here. They need to build up this node a bit more at 80. They need to get some more Delta here. The Delta is pretty weak. We're shifting a little bit into a capital B with this double node. We had a P shape, pushed up, extended the initial tail, built another node, and we're just doing it simultaneously, right? So when you have a trend profile, it builds up multiple nodes, right? That's kind of what we're doing. Here's our second node, kind of creating that capital B. If we hit 87 to like 800, we'll probably put another node in there as well. Keep an eye on that 87. It's pretty much been hit, but we do want to hit that level exactly. finish repairing that retrace of Monday. A lot of block trades coming in on the retest there. Really big blocks too. 800 or 1800 contracts at 77 and 1300 contracts at 75. That 75 is probably 2000 contracts. Those are probably the same order, if I had to guess. Kind of turning into a vertical distribution up here. You keep trying to break out, but the breakouts are very weak. So then it pulls back, but the limit buyers are absorbing it. So then it gives it another shot. It bounces again. And you're kind of just rinse and repeat, doing that over and over. The aggressive traders are getting stronger on NASDAQ. You can see the delta starting to come in. You're starting to hold above that ADMA. You're mostly being protected by those pullback buyers on ES, especially the block trades. Depends on what you mean, DM. If you mean something like this, where it's like green and red on the same exact tick, basically, this one is a couple points off because of slippage. It's the same exact like second that the order came in. This is probably the same order. It's just getting slippage. If you're talking about when you see like a 2000 contract block and then like 10 minutes later you see a 2,000 contract block of like the opposing direction. I couldn't really tell you. But when this happens, that is pretty much the same order. It's just coming in slightly different on the tape because of the slippage. The block trade started at 75, but it slipped to like 77. Is what I'm guessing, right? I don't know these things for sure. I'm just kind of guessing. But that's what we do with like all the analysis that we talk about with like the big traders. We don't know what the hell they're doing. We're just kind of guessing. I don't try to look into it too far because, like I said, we don't know, right? We don't 100% know what they're doing. Opening, closing, hedging. Who knows? We just try to make our best guess. You can see the aggressiveness starting to pick up here. They're actually getting those aggressive buyers on the high. The delta's coming in much more than it was like 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Here is that 87, by the way, finishing that retrace of Monday. This was mostly a pre-market trade, so if you guys are trading the same hours as me, we unfortunately didn't get to participate much in this one. But the pre-market trade holding above that value low of Monday, with the help of the NVIDIA earnings, obviously, you just finished your target by hitting that retrace into the value high of Monday. A little bit of a stall on the POC node. You had that POC range kind of acting as a chop zone on the pre-market. But overall, that trade was very clean. If it continues, keep an eye on 801 to 816. The value retrace on NASDAQ is also complete. Keep an eye on 380 for the next level. The whole move is AI so lame. It's just a thing to talk about right now, right? It's where all the money's going. You also can't lie that it has you can't say it hasn't had an impact, right? Like it's changing the way that people do things on a daily basis. Hey, Scott, have a good vacation, man. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Olive. Yusa, good morning. A little bit of a sweep here, not finding a ton of bullish delta on the breakout. You had an initial surge on the way up, and then it hit that 87. It finished that retrace, and now we don't have too much delta after that. A lot of bearish delta coming in here. Block trades coming in at 82 and 80. Good morning, No Name. Good morning, Sniper. You sold 80 and it popped. Yeah, 80 was a little early. 87 is the value high of Monday, and it was finishing a retrace. So basically what you were betting on at 80 was that it wasn't going to finish that retrace. Oh, you mean you were closing a trade? I got you. Yeah, that's not a big deal then. That's not a bad trade. A lot of bearish delta coming in after finishing that retrace at 87, showing a lot of sellers on that value high of Monday. 2,000 contract block trade there at 76. Look at the liquidity. It is terrible, showing blue orders on almost every single order here. Good morning, music. I couldn't tell you. I haven't used NinjaTrader in like 2 years or whatever, however long we've been using Addis. I have an old playlist or an old series in my order flow playlist on NT. You might be able to copy that, but it might be outdated. But for the most part, you should be able to copy my charts from Addis. On NT, they're about the same. Most of the books I recommend are on volume profile stuff. They're like books by Dalton. Mind Over Markets is very good. Markets in Profile is very good as well. Steve Nison, Nison, has a couple of candlestick books that are pretty good. But yeah, if you just look up Dalton's books, those are the ones I typically recommend. Keep an eye on VWAP, 176 on NQ, 759 on ES. A lot of bearish delta coming in around 67 here. This is kind of where it was being absorbed earlier, so they really need to get through this little zone here. Still showing absorption on that low. They keep putting a ton of delta around that 65 area, but it's not going through it. basically where the POC is now. If it can finally get through this absorption here, keep an eye on VWAP. VWAP at 760, and then you don't really have a major level below that until like maybe 45, 42. You're hitting VWAP already on NQ here. Still just being absorbed. You have all this delta coming in below 70, but this is not going anywhere. Good morning, Mauser. Yeah, how's Nvidia doing? Let's see. How much of the earnings move has it pulled back? Not much. It's still gapped up quite a bit. It's still up about like 4%. I saw a lot of debate about if they were cooking their books to pass earnings. Basically, people were saying that they were pumping their accounts receivable, which makes their earnings look better. But there were pretty good arguments on both sides about why that's not really the case. But who knows? Morning, Adriano. What side was getting absorbed? Kind of both sides were. You had a lot of absorption at like 65 for the sellers, and the buyers were being absorbed around like 75. They finally broke it and had that breakout into 90, but then obviously it came right back down. So you kind of have both sides, but mostly the sellers. The sellers are getting stuck at 65 continuously. I think my editor is sleeping right now, but I asked him if he thinks the video will be done today or tomorrow. When he gets back to me, I'll let you guys know. We're hoping to have it released today after the closing bell, so probably like 5, 6 o'clock Eastern. But if it's not done by today, we'll release it tomorrow. That absorption is just too damn strong. The sellers are trying to get through that 65 and they just can't do it. The limit buyers are propping this up. You're seeing the delta problem because when you have that absorption, you have the delta being skewed, right? You have all that bearish delta coming in, pushing that cumulative delta down. But it's not overly bearish, right? Because they're not actually getting what they want. So yes, we don't have a ton of bullish delta here, but the bears are kind of trapped. You do want to see that delta start to spike as it pushes up, because that would be squeezing it out, right? They'd be squeezing out those trapped sellers around 65. So as they push up, if they don't have that delta coming in, that becomes a problem. Yeah, unfortunately, most of the move that we were looking for today did happen on the pre-market. It was a very easy pre-market trade. It's not a very easy trade on the open. This move right here, the retrace of Monday, was the obvious trade today. And it was more of a swing trade. It happened on the pre-market. That's a really, really good trade, though, if you guys were trading pre-market. It's almost 100 points. Want a Victor? Want a nerd? No, I'm not interested in any other platform, to be honest. Like I said, I wasn't interested in moving off NinjaTrader. I'm not somebody who likes changing platforms all the time. I change platforms like every couple of years, maybe. Um, I was using NT for a very long time, and people in the community kept telling me to try Addis, and I was seeing some screenshots of people using Addis in the Discord. So I gave them a try, and then almost instantly I was like, okay, yeah, this is better than NT. But I had a couple of issues with NT. Like NT was a little laggy sometimes. Their tick rate wasn't the greatest. Just like little things. It wasn't like game breaking, but it was just like little things that were kind of annoying. And then I switched to Addis, and it just fixed all those little things. Like Addis is not astronomically better than NT. It's just better in. It's just a little better at everything. It just has like a small improvement on every little thing. But yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not a beta tester. I don't like trying new things when they're fresh. I used to, like back in the crypto days, I was helping people out quite a lot. I was one of the very first people using exocharts. They even had my version, my templates as like their default templates. Some of their default templates. Um but yeah, like I used to try out things all the time. I'm not really into it anymore. I like being comfortable. I like being using the same thing every day. That's why my main account is on Tradeovate. I've been using Tradeovate for many years. That's why my Apex accounts are on Tradeovate, because I'm used to Tradeovate, right? I'm not a new and shiny kind of trader, right? Just kind of person in general, right? I don't like trying the new and shiny stuff. So no, my short answer is no, I will not be trying it. And to be honest, I don't even know what it is. I don't think I've even heard of it. Every 10 years, yeah, basically. It's like TradingView. I've been using TradingView for I don't even know how long. Probably 10, 15 years. At the end of the day, the platform is not going to be the like main reason that you're making money or losing money. So like if you're not making it as a trader and you're putting all the blame on the platform, that's probably not the issue. The platform definitely helps, but most of these platforms, they're about the same. There's just little improvements, right? Like I said, Addis and NT, they're about the same. Addis is just better. Hey, Esteban, yeah, I should be caught up with emails later today. I'm a little behind. I need to probably make a new email for you guys that are looking for like indicator access with our Apex partnership, because my main email is just getting to the point where it's almost unusable. It's getting flooded so much. Yeah, Thinkorswim, same way. People have been using Thinkorswim for years. What's your win rate? I'm just gonna remove your message, man. I'm gonna put you in timeout for a little bit. If you guys are coming in here and like one of your very first messages are like, how much money do I make, or what's my win rate, or any of that stuff, this channel's probably not for you guys. You might want to find another channel. You're asking all the wrong questions. I can say with almost a certainty, if you are coming in here and that's one of your first like 3 questions, is asking me about my trading or how much money I make, possibly trading is not for you. The channel is definitely not for you, but possibly trading is not for you. If you're thinking about trading as just like a get rich quick, like money, 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 you are going to struggle. And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible. Oh, I've given the answer on my win rate, and I'll give you the answer now. That's not my point, though. My point is, like I said, if you're brand new to the channel, and that's one of your first questions, this channel ain't for you. And I've told you guys my win rate multiple times, which does not matter. I am usually around a 40 to 60% win rate. On my bad or like normal months, it's closer to 40%. On my months that I, like everything's clicking and I'm doing everything right, it's closer to 60%. My point is, and I'm going to go into this rant because I haven't gone into this rant in a long time. My point with all these questions you guys like to ask me is, okay, now that you guys asked that question, you asked me what my win rate was, I answered it. What the hell does that do for you? Let's go down this path. Now that you guys know that, how has your life improved? Let me know. It's just like, it's just so pointless. It's so meaningless. It's insane. Like asking somebody how much money they make. Okay, now that you know that information, tell me how that has improved your life. Tell me how that has improved your trading. It helps me sleep better at night, yeah. Like I said, it's just so meaningless. And those are the kind of questions I just hate to see. Just the questions that are like baseless. They just have no value whatsoever. Keep an eye on this delta here. Delta is exploding to the upside. Exploding's kind of an overreaction. It's exploding on NASDAQ, not so much on ES. Yeah, but that's not true. So even going down that path, that is not true. So if I tell you guys my win rate, and then you use that and say, okay, that's what I can expect on my trading, because this is what this guy does. That's completely not true. Trading is a massively individual battle. Every person is going to be unique. It does not matter. I could give you guys the exact same tools. I could give you guys the exact same setups to trade. And I guarantee you, you'll have different win rates. You'll be trading different size. You'll have different P&Ls. It's because trading is a massive psychological battle, and everybody's brain works differently. So it does not matter if you have the exact same tools or the exact same setups, workstation, indicators, whatever you want to call it. You are not the same as me. You are not the same as everybody else in chat. It's why I tell people constantly when I'm in my tutoring sessions that you shouldn't worry about your win rate too much. You obviously want it to be decent, but you shouldn't worry about it too much. Like, if you can be around 40 to 50%, you could still make money. People worrying about win rate and getting that number as high as they possibly can, I guarantee almost every single person is losing. They are not making money in the long run. They are not consistent. Because that number is not what proves consistency. Paul Tudor Jones said he could put his trading rules in Wall Street Journal and nobody would listen. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the short answer, if you guys think like that, trading is going to be really rough for you. And there's not much I can do to fix that problem, because that's a psychological issue. And like I just said, everybody's brain works differently. I cannot rewire your brain. I can try my best, but I'm probably not going to succeed. I've already talked about that in large detail, Ganesh, in my sizing guide, Apex sizing guides. I talk about it. I talk about it in my Apex Trader playlist that we just started, or becoming an Apex trader. Yeah, trading is just a very personal. It's a very personal career, or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, if you care about stuff like that, this just is not the channel for you. You guys can find another channel. There's plenty of channels out there. I hate to tell you guys to leave, but that's just the easiest way to do it. Hey, good morning, Liquidated. I do so much trade management that win rate is an irrelevant statistic. Yeah. It also determines, like, or it depends on how you determine your win rate. Like, is it from open to close? Is it from open to first take profit? Exactly. What you said. When you manage your trade, it kind of skews that number quite a bit. Yeah, it's just like that fundamental thing will make or break you as a trader. Like, if you cannot just focus inward and focus on yourself, take accountability for everything that you do, you're going to struggle. If you're constantly looking outward and blaming other things, or looking at other people's P&Ls or win rates or strategies or whatever, right? You need to focus inward. You could take the simplest strategy ever. You could take like a moving average or something. I could give you guys VWAP. And I could be like, okay, create a strategy with VWAP. And you would have people in chat that would be consistently profitable by just using VWAP. And it's because they have figured out the emotional, psychological side of trading. It's like the grass is always greener, right? That saying where people are just constantly always looking outward. It's having no benefit on them. It just goes back to what I said earlier. Like, you guys asked me these questions. Even if I answered every single question about the money, about the win rate, about the whatever, it has zero value. You guys think it has value. It doesn't. It does nothing to you. It does nothing to your trading. And my other point is, if I focus on people like that, they're not even going to stick around because they're not going to make it in trading. I'm doing this for the long haul, right? I have people that have been watching me for years. I have people that have been Discord members for years. Because I understand what it takes to stay in this business of trading, for a long time. And those people are not going to stay in this business for a long time. So I do not focus on them. It goes back to what people ask me about, what is my goal? What is my goal with streaming or the channel and creating content? By the way, lower high here. Keep an eye on the lower high, showing a 30-minute sweep on the high. And they ask me what my goal is, and I tell them that my goal is not to make everyone in here rich from trading, right? My goal is not to make everyone in here absolutely profitable, where they're all quitting their day jobs and they're full-time trading. My goal is to help everyone in here lose less money. And I know if I focus on that, I am reaching all of you, right? Because everyone wants to lose less money, and everyone's going to lose money in trading because trading is very, very difficult. Pretty much every single person in here has probably lost money trading. Now, some of you guys have probably figured it out and made it profitable, but in the beginning, probably everybody here, 99.9% of you, have lost money trying to learn this, right? So my goal is to help 99.9% of you guys in that learning process lose less money. Now, in the meantime, like, if people can use what I teach and really figure it out and become consistent and become profitable on the long run, that's awesome. That's a bonus, right? That's fantastic. But I can't focus on that 0.1% or 1% of people, because then I'm alienating everybody else. Yeah, exactly, Lulu. I was talking about that the other day, about like how much hate like rich people or CEOs or people in high positions, how much hate they get. And people just don't realize that they got there for a reason, right? I mean, a lot of the times it could be like nepotism, or they could have been handed down money, like inherited money. They didn't do anything to earn that money. But when you have people that started from absolutely nothing and they built their way up, and now they're like millionaires or billionaires, and people are like talking shit about them, it's like they kind of started where you started. People see where you are now. They don't see how you got there, right? It's like streaming. Like, people see me streaming now. I stream for like, whatever, 200 people in here. By the way, keep it on VWAP, 76 here. That lower high giving us a lot of seller delta. Big cluster of seller delta, by the way, from 80 to 85. But yeah, it's like streaming. Like, people come in here and I have 200 viewers. They don't know that I used to stream for literally nobody for like a year. And then I streamed for like 430 people for like a year or two, doing the exact same thing I'm doing now. It's not like I just pressed a button and I immediately had 20,000 subs and 200 viewers. I used to stream for like 8 to 16 hours a day for like literally nobody. It was for me. Yeah, this isn't Exo. This is Addis. I don't know if Exo still has my old template. It used to be one of their defaults. If you have a template if they have a default template that has like a purple and pink, kind of like a gray undertone with like purple and pink profiles, kind of the bright colors as their profiles, that's probably my template. My template got very popular back when they first started. Keep an eye on this absorption going back down to 65. They did not like that breakout. Same thing we've been saying all day, where the aggressive buyers are very weak. Turn into a 30-minute sweep, turned into a cluster of bearish delta. Here is VWAP. Not seeing a bullish reaction on VWAP so far. We'll keep an eye on that delta here. Yeah, PL, I don't have that issue, man. It might be on your end, unfortunately. The only issue I've had with Addis recently, and it's mostly on my PC end, is if I'm running certain programs, like I'm doing like editing or like Canva or something, it has like a conflict with, I think it's like Opera or whatever it is, and it causes like a RAM overload and it crashes. But that's like the only issue I've had with it, and that's, like I said, that's mostly on my end. That's a PC problem than on Addis's end. Gaming and Addis doesn't work. Yeah, I don't game much during the day, so I know it doesn't like it with it doesn't like it with Canva. When did I start streaming on YouTube? I think I switched full time to YouTube in like 20. It was like 18 or no, when was it? 19? I don't remember actually. It was like 19 or 20. I streamed on Twitch for like a year or two, and then I switched over to streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch. Twitch is just the wrong audience. A lot of young people, a lot of like that basement dweller, like Reddit mentality. Basically, everybody that I don't want to watch my channel is on Twitch. I'm not saying that's everybody that watches Twitch. I watch Twitch all the time. But the audience that I was getting on there was not very good. The maturity levels from like YouTube to Twitch is just not they're not comparable. And YouTube is much more of a educational audience. Oh, for sure. And that's exactly why I stopped streaming on Twitch. Is it was nothing but those questions. It was just people trying to copy my trades. They wanted a signal group. They wanted how much money I made. They wanted my social security number. I mean, you name it. They want to see my tax returns. Keep an eye on VWAP coming up at 64, 191 on NQ. Not seeing any delta reaction on the first VWAP. Yeah, I thought about changing to the stable version, but don't I have to remake my workspace? Aren't the workspaces not compatible between the versions? There's a wall here. Look at that wall. Got taken out finally. Get a wall at 69, trading about 2,000 contracts. Yeah, my stream was very different from 2018 to 2020. So a lot of you guys probably wouldn't have liked my stream back then. It wasn't like this. We had a lot of people in voice chat at one time. It was kind of more of like a trading room. Like we had a bunch of guys in voice chat. We were all kind of yelling over each other. It was almost like a trading floor type of thing. A lot more yelling, a lot more cussing, and not as professional, is what I'll say. I just don't have the energy to do that every day. That's kind of what crypto was back in the day, though. Crypto was the wild, wild west, right? So you kind of had to be like that. You had to be on high alert at all times. Keep an eye on 64 here. No delta reaction on the first VWAP. What do I think about ICT traders? I've never really fully looked into the ICT system. I just know kind of what it teaches, what they teach, based on crypto Twitter back when it was getting very popular. People were using it. I've seen the indicators that people make. I understand the system. By the way, here's VWAP, 64. I understand the system, but I've never like taken a course or I've never like watched videos about it or anything like that. The only thing I don't like about ICT, and this goes with every trading system, I don't like traders that think that it's their way or the highway, where it's like, oh, if you're not an ICT guy, you're an idiot. If you think like that, then I've got a problem with you. But if you're just using ICT and you don't care, like you don't care to push that onto other people, then I could not care less. Yeah, if you go to stable, I think you have to remake your workspace. Which I think it would be, if the templates carry over, if I can still use my templates, it would take me like 10 seconds. It would be really fast. But if you can't use the templates, that's a problem. Bouncing off VWAP here, a lot of bullish delta reaction from this lower VWAP. You can still use the templates? Okay, yeah, so then it should be pretty easy. So all you have to do is save all your templates and then just remake your charts and then just reload the templates. For NASDAQ, I don't look at it every day, so you'd have to find a level that works for you. But I think mine is 10 points, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's 10 points. I tried to make my NASDAQ profile match my ES profile the best I could. And 10 points is the closest. Oh, you didn't even have to change anything? You just went to stable and it loaded all your charts? That's awesome. Yeah, I don't really have that many issues. It's only every now and then in the afternoon when I'm trying to do like editing stuff. But if it keeps acting up, then I'll probably go back to stable. Yeah, I would always save your templates, save your workspace on a separate file, just so if it breaks, you can always have a backup. Okay, here is that absorption. We've been stuck here pretty much the entire day as the range low. We'll see if they can actually hold below 60 here. Very aggressive pullback, holding below the 80 MA the entire time. Okay, first break of these 30-minute lows. We'll see if they can actually stay down here. They pushed the low at a perfect time because you did not create single prints because that 30-minute close before. Starting to lose the 30-minute low here. Sorry, the value low. Starting to lose the value low. Keep an eye on the value low of the pre-market, which is around 728. That is also the POC of Monday. Very early to say, but watch that 30-minute close. Single print's going back to 59. Here comes that overnight value low around 728. That's the next major level here. How's Nvidia doing? Pulling back about half of that gap up. a very aggressive sell-off, holding below the 80 MA the entire time. Here comes that value low. We don't typically watch these levels on the overnight, but there's really no other level here to watch. So keep an eye on that 28 level and then down to Monday's value low, which is 95. You kind of have a large rotation happening on Monday. You retraced back to the value high, and now you're slowly coming back to the value low. You're about halfway done. Good morning, Kosick. The CVD moving average, it's just like the trend. I'm just watching the CVD trend. It's a 60 EMA. It's on the 1 minute chart, so it's technically like the 1 hour trend. Hey, Joe, how's it going, man? You have 13 minutes left. It is most likely going to create single prints going back to 58. Right now, you are just rotating Monday's value. Here is that overnight value low that I was talking about at 28. And then you have 95 coming up on Monday. Very aggressive move here, staying below the 80 MA the entire time. We have not traded above the 80 MA since 10:46 a.m. You have 8 minutes left, and it is almost certainly going to create single prints. Opinion on gamma levels? They're okay. I just don't use them every day. I think it's an okay system. I like the thought process behind it. A little bit of a delta absorption down here. Bunch of block trades coming in at 13 to 15. You have 6 minutes left. You're going to create single prints back to 59, which is exactly where VWAP is. Now, you want to be a long trader on P shapes most of the time, not on this style though. Once you lose the value low, the long bias is dead. Because once you lose the value low, it becomes a trap, where all these buyers that were on the high get trapped and you squeeze back down. This is not a proper P shape though. On the cash profile, we started out as like a D shape, and then we extended the tail downwards, so it's not an actual P shape. With a real P shape, you have to create the tail first. We had a P shape on the full session, which then obviously turned into this. They're trying to repair this candle a little bit early here. You're going to create single prints going to 59, so you'll probably repair like a third of it. But it doesn't really matter. Okay, there are the single prints going back to VWAP. Keep an eye on Monday's value low at 95. We're basically just rotating Monday. Finished the rotation into 87. That was damn near the high of day. And now we're back into that value low. If you stay below 95, that's a problem. Keep an eye on yesterday's value, 73 to 38. We don't know just yet if you're going to find bearish delta below that, though. But all right, guys, we are going to call it here. I will be streaming the rest of the day in Discord. Keep an eye on that Monday value low, like I just said. If you do hold value below that, you get pretty bad for the buyers back down to yesterday's value, possibly. If you can hold above 95, this turns into a really good move for the buyers because you could finish filling in those single prints back into VWAP and also possibly back into Monday's value high if it wants to act like you're just rotating Monday, right? Constantly back and forth, retracing from value high to value low. So keep an eye on that. Same story with NASDAQ. NASDAQ is a little bit more bearish because we are already pushing Monday's value low. So look for yesterday's value if it does continue. But all right, guys, I will see you in Discord. If you're not in Discord, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Be on the lookout for those single prints. That is a massive single print zone. We have been filling in most of the single prints, but they have been leaving open a couple here and there. But we shouldn't be leaving open that large of a zone. So a lot of those should get repaired, excuse me, before the end of the day. But all right, guys, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you guys enjoy the content. If you do want to support the channel, there are a couple promo codes going on right now. You can use code BREW for 80% off on Apex. There is an Addis code in the poll in chat, and there's also a Black Friday 2025 code on the website for everything on the website. 40% off everything. But all right, guys, I'll see you in Discord. Peace, everybody.